Hello, Kumar, Vineet, Yogesh, can you hear me? Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, hi Yogesh, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Kumar. Let's just wait for 5 more minutes, guys, for the other people to join as well. Okay, and then we'll start the session. I'll just keep my mic muted for 5 minutes more. Okay, let's just give the other people as well time to join. And we'll start sharply by 10:05. Okay, so sorry for the delay. Okay. Okay, guys, let's get started without any further ado. I'm so sorry for the delay. So before we get started, a quick formal introduction on my name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'm a cybersecurity trainer certified from AC Council. So this is AC Council is the leading organization for cybersecurity domain certifications in the world. And now our demo session today is on certified ethical hacking version 11. So this is the first introductory and the foundational course required to go through when people are planning on joining cybersecurity or if they are completely new to the domain of cybersecurity. Okay, so before I get started, this is a very common misconception about hacking and ethical hacking. So there are two terms, one is hacking and one is ethical hacking. And people usually don't know the difference between it. They interchange the terms and they have a confusion a lot around these terms. So let me clarify that first about what hacking is and what ethical hacking is. And so we can proceed further from there. Okay, so basically you might have heard the term hacking a lot of times, okay, but to define it out in a proper way, hacking is nothing but the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. Now, these information systems could be anything. They could be as small as a mobile phone to as big as a web application server or a database. And this gaining access to these devices is done without the permission or the consent of the person owning those systems. Okay, so once the gaining access is done, the hacker can use that for his own benefit. So he can steal the data, destroy the data, or sell the data to someone else on the black market. Okay, and sometimes they just mischievously do it just for fun. Okay, now if hacking seems such a malicious task, if it is such a criminal activity, why do we have a term called ethical hacking? Is the second question. Because ethical is something which is completely legal, which is completely allowed. And how are these two contradictive terms, ethical and hacking, coming together is the main question. So ethical hacking, on the other hand, is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. Okay, a vulnerability is nothing but a flaw, a loophole. You could say it's a weakness in the information system. And using this weakness only, attackers try to gain access to the system. So your job as an ethical hacker would be to find these vulnerabilities with the permission and the consent of the organization. Okay, and this is done in order to report them back. Okay, so once the vulnerability is reported back, the organization applies the appropriate patch for it. Okay, and once the patch is applied, that closes the doorway for the hacker. Okay, so this is done in order to report the vulnerabilities back so that they can be patched up before any other hacker can exploit those flaws. Okay, so thereby with ethical hacking, you're trying to increase the security of the infrastructure rather than causing any harm. Okay, before I proceed, one last thing, guys. I hope my voice is audible and there's no issues with that. Any issues with the audio or video, guys? Kumar, Vineet, Yogesh. I hope everything is fine. Hello, guys, are you there? Okay, perfect, perfect. Thanks, Yogesh, for replying back. Yeah. Now, proceeding further, depending on these two terms, hacking and ethical hacking, we can categorize the various types of hackers as well. Okay, so sometimes you have, oh, Kumar, thank you. Yeah, sure. So now you have three types of hackers basically. There's someone known as a black hat hacker, there's someone known as a gray hat hacker, and finally, there's someone known as a white hat hacker. Okay, black hat hackers are also called as the cyber criminals who perform hacking for their own benefit. Okay, so they don't ask for consent or permission. They try to perform this hacking part for their own benefit to get access to the device's data, or sometimes they even do it just for fun. On the other end of the spectrum, you have someone known as a white hat hacker. White hat hackers are also called as ethical hackers or penetration testers. Okay, so these people abide by the laws and policies of the organization. They work hand in hand with them and try to increase the security of the infrastructure. So they try to find the vulnerabilities before the hackers can attack on it, and they try to report it back to patch it up. Okay. Now, in between, there's someone also known as a gray hat hacker. Now, this guy is called gray hat because he is a mixture of both black and white hat hacker properties. Okay, so like a black hat hacker, he doesn't ask for permission before performing penetration testing. But once he finds the vulnerability, like a white hat hacker, he reports it back. But there's a minor catch over here. He does not report the vulnerabilities back for free. He does it for something known as a bounty. Okay, a bounty is anything which can benefit him. Okay, it could be a prize money reward, or it could be a reputational reward, anything which benefits him and his career. Okay, now all these three professional hackers, whether it be the black hat or the white hat or the gray hat hacker, perform hacking or ethical hacking in a systematic fashion. Okay, so even in organizations as well, when you're performing penetration testing, this is a systematic procedure that you follow. Okay, various organizations categorize these into various number of steps. But if I had to summarize it out, there are 5 important steps of hacking or ethical hacking, and they are collectively called as hacking cycle or cyber kill chain. Okay, so let me list out all the steps one by one, and then we briefly discuss about each of these steps so you have a clear picture of what all cybersecurity is about. Okay, so the first step is known as information gathering. It can also be termed as reconnaissance or footprinting. Second step is known as scanning. It can also be called as enumeration. Third step is known as gaining access. Fourth step is maintaining access. And the last step is reporting or clearing traces. Now, the reason I've mentioned or in the last step is because that is where it makes all the difference between a white hat hacker and a black hat hacker. So the first 4 procedures will be exactly similar, whether you go with white hat, gray hat, or black hat hacker. Okay, what matters is in the end, if you're a white hat hacker, you try to generate a report and submit that report to the organization. If you're a black hat hacker, obviously you're not going to generate a report. You try to remove all the evidences, and that is known as clearing traces. Okay, now let's discuss about each of these steps one by one, so you have a clear picture of what the whole course is about. First step is information gathering. Again, as the name itself suggests, information gathering is nothing but trying to gather as much information as possible about the target passively. What I mean by passively is that you get this information from other third-party sources. You don't contact the organization directly. You ask other websites or from other resources on the internet. You try to gather the information. Okay, so the main question is, what kind of information are we talking about over here? And this is the information as follows. So firstly, whatever target it be, whatever organization it be, you try to figure out the IP addresses of that organization or the range of IP addresses used by their servers. Then you try to get the who is records. Who is records are nothing but trying to understand who hosted that website, when was it first hosted, when was it last updated, when will it expire, what is the location of the servers. All that belongs to the who is information. Then DNS records, the information that is stored in the DNS servers of the organization. The employee details, such as the contact numbers, email addresses, publicly leaked usernames and passwords. Okay, then domain names of the website, subdomains of the website, then what operating systems are they using in their organization, what tools are they using, and so on. Now, if I show you a very basic example, if I wanted to get the DNS information for any target organization, all I have to do is go to the browser and search for a website called DNS Dumpster. This is a very popular website in the hacking cycle. In the hacking circles that you'll come across. Now, as you can see, it is asking you to enter a target domain. So I could choose anything. I usually go with wipro.com because it is a very popular company. I can click on search. And as you can see over here. Okay, firstly, it shows us the geolocations of the servers where Wipro is being hosted from. Then it gives us all the DNS information. So right now, wipro.com has 4 DNS servers. Again, guys, we have not learned what DNS servers are. So for the time being, just understand DNS servers are used to resolve IP address and host names. Okay, so whenever you're connecting to www.google.com, Google or wipro.com, that server, that domain has a public server. So linking that IP address and that domain name is what the DNS server does. Okay, and it shows you that wipro.com is using 4 DNS servers, and these are their exact IP addresses. Okay. Then after that, it is this MX stands for mail server. So Wipro is using outlook.com for their mails. And this is the exact IP address for that. Scroll down much further. These are all the domain names of wipro.com. Okay, this is the domain name, main domain, and exact public IP, and all the subdomains. Scroll down much further, gives you the complete network topology of Wipro's organization. So which servers are connected in what way, and how they are interconnected, and how what all endpoints exist on Wipro's organization. So the DNS servers, mail servers, all the other web servers, and so on. Okay, so this gives you the complete information on how Wipro's organization works, or the network of Wipro organization works. Okay, now again, this is gathered from other third-party sources. So Wipro does not have any clue that someone is gathering all this information about them. Okay, although Wipro might have given this information in their past. Okay, again, giving out information is not wrong, but this information needs to be made public so that you can access those websites. Okay, but giving out information without checking for vulnerabilities on those servers is where the fault lies. Okay, so whatever information you're giving publicly, you have to see to it that each of these servers has no vulnerability through which you can attack. through which a hacker can get access to their organization servers. Okay, so that is important, and that is where pen testers come into play. That is where cybersecurity comes into play. Okay, checking the security and integrity of each of these servers one by one for the complete organization. Okay, now coming back to the next step, guys, any questions or doubts up to this part? Kumar, Vineet, Yogesh, any doubts or anything, please feel free to interrupt me at any point, guys, and ask me your questions. Do not hesitate to interrupt me. Okay. Shall I proceed? Any questions up to this part? Okay, Yogesh, perfect. Perfect. Okay, guys. Now, proceeding further, after this information gathering, the next phase that we have is the scanning phase, okay, which is also called as enumeration. Now, scanning is a phase where you try to get some extra information which you could not get in the information gathering phase. So not all information can be gathered passively. Sometimes after the information gathering phase is done, you need to make active connections with the target. Okay, so that extra information is only gathered by making or contacting directly the server. Okay, now when you talk about scanning, it is categorized into three types. There's something known as network scanning, port scanning, and vulnerability scanning. Network scanning is where whatever IP addresses or whatever information you get in the first information gathering phase, using those IPs, you try to understand what all devices are active in a local network. So you use a tool called Nmap, through which you can scan a local network and understand what all devices are existing. Okay, so what routers or what firewalls, what client operating system, what servers are up and running on those devices. Then you perform port scanning to figure out what ports and services are open. Okay, so every device has something known as logical ports. On these logical ports, multiple services run and multiple applications communicate. Okay, so we need to understand what all ports are open, and on those ports, what services are running. Okay, so once you know the services are running, then you perform vulnerability scanning to figure out on those services, are there any weaknesses on which you can attack? So if there is even one single service which is vulnerable, you can attack on that service and get access to that device. And from there, you get access to the network, and then you mitigate your attack. Okay, so now in this, we'll be using very important tools such as Nmap and Nessus. So if you look at my browser over here, this is the Nessus tool. Okay, this is the same tool that is used in organizations as well. So if I just search for Tenable Nessus, this is the official website from where you can download the tool. Let me show you. And as you can see, it's a very expensive tool actually. So if I click on buy, it's around $4,000 or so. That too for 1 year subscription. It's not even lifetime access. Okay, so with that, again, there's a free trial version as well, as you can see, ideal for students and people starting their career in cybersecurity. Okay, so using this, I have the trial version installed on my system, has the same capabilities, no difference at all to get started. So let me log in and show you how Nessus looks like. Okay, so if I go to my policies and scan templates, as you can see, this is capable of performing the network scan, advanced scan, malware scan, web application scan. So this is basically an automated vulnerability scanner tool. So this does the job of scanning each and every endpoint in your network, each and every device in your network, and finding out which services are running, and on those services, what vulnerabilities exist. So once you perform a scan, this is how it displays the results. So I've scanned 3 devices previously in one of my classes, and it shows you what vulnerabilities exist. Okay, all the vulnerabilities, the weaknesses are categorized in 5 levels: information-based, low vulnerabilities, medium, high, and critical. So if there's even a single critical vulnerability, it means that your network or your organization is at risk. Okay, so having these many are a lot of red flags for us. Okay, so using these automated tools, we can try to figure out, are there any vulnerabilities that we are unable to see or we are unable to check. Okay, so using these vulnerabilities, attackers actually try to harm the system or get access to the organization. So we ourselves as pen testers first perform the scanning, find the vulnerabilities, and try to rectify them. Okay, so but once you find the vulnerabilities, you also have to test them out. Maybe the tool is giving wrong results also, or false positive results also. So there we come with manual pen testing also. Okay, and that is the next phase. Okay, so after scanning is done, after you find out that there's a few certain vulnerabilities, then you go with gaining access. On those vulnerabilities, you try to manually attack and check if the vulnerabilities are actually true or false positives. Okay, and that is known as penetration testing. So again, in gaining access, there's a lot of different topics, and it covers a huge variety of different sessions. Okay, and just to list them out, here are the list of topics. So first things first, in gaining access, we learn system hacking. So system hacking is where you try to break into or crack or bypass a Windows operating system password. So if you have a laptop or a device and that system is locked, how do you break that password and how do you get access to the internal files is what we learn in system hacking. And that can be applied for any operating system, whether that be Windows 7, Windows 8, 10 or 11, anything. Okay. Then comes malware attack. Malware is nothing but malicious softwares. Okay. And most of your 90% of your cyber threats happen due to malware only. Okay. So we'll practically understand how these malwares are created. What are the different categories of malwares, such as viruses, worms, trojans, spyware? There's tons and tons. Okay. People only think that viruses are the only malware, but no guys, there's tons of malwares which can cause different levels of harm on your system, on your network. Okay. So we practically learn what malwares are and we try to understand how to prevent our systems from getting attacked by malwares. How do we quickly detect the malwares and how do we prevent those malwares from entering our system? Or even if they enter, how do you mitigate them and how do you remove them and how do you keep your systems or network secure? Okay. Then comes malware advanced. Now this is a bonus concept. This is not included in the curriculum from EC Council. We have just added this so students have a better understanding on malware development. So how to write the code for a malware and use Python programming for it. Okay, so we learn basics of Python for that and understand how we can write the code for the malware, such as keyloggers or backdoors or whatever it be. Then comes network penetration testing. In a local network, you have multiple devices. You have a DHCP server, you have a DNS server, you have a mail server, SNMP server, NTP server. So how do you test for vulnerabilities on each of these servers? How do you check your network is secure? Okay, and what kind of attacks can be performed in a local network, such as sniffing attack, man-in-the-middle attack, denial of service attacks, or hacking Wi-Fi routers? All this comes under network pen testing, checking each and every endpoint in our network and checking the security of it and checking how you can attack on it if a vulnerability exists. Then comes social engineering. In that we learn how hackers create fake websites or fake login pages. So social media hacking, bank account fake login pages, phishing attacks, all this will come under social engineering. So we practically see how hackers can create a fake login page. Okay. And from that login page, how do they get the credentials back from it? Okay. And how do you prevent these kinds of attacks? Okay. Then comes web application penetration testing. Now in this we learn vulnerabilities or how to find weaknesses in websites. So there's a lot of weaknesses that exist on websites using which hackers can get access to the backend servers or the backend databases and also try to sometimes deface websites, which means we'll remove the content from the website. So such a few vulnerabilities to list out are SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, file upload. Now might sound very technical guys, but these are nothing but just weaknesses that could exist in websites. Using these vulnerabilities only, attackers try to gain access or try to download data from the websites or download the usernames or passwords, leak the usernames and passwords and so on. Okay, so we learn how to check for these vulnerabilities and how do we prevent these vulnerabilities. Okay, then comes vulnerability assessment. As I've already discussed, once you perform a scanning, you need to verify the report. Okay, so that comes in the vulnerability assessment part. In that we'll be using a very important tool called Metasploit framework. Then finally comes hacking mobile phones, where we learn how we can test or how we can try to perform testing on an Android phone. How do you create malwares for Android, and using those malwares, how do you get the remote connection back? Okay. After gaining access is done, then we go with maintaining access and reporting. So maintaining access is where if the user restarts the system, you still need to maintain a persistent connection, which means you can still be able to have control over the system. Okay. So that is known as how to maintain access over the system. After that, we have reporting. How do you generate a report or how do you remove all the evidences, all the traces, which is nothing but clearing traces. Okay. Now, I've not mentioned all the topics over here, guys. For that, I have the PDF documentation over here. As you can see, this is the list of complete topics. Okay. So before we dive into the advanced concepts, since not everyone is from technical background, we have a few prerequisites to cover. Okay. So basically, first we learn what is networking. So we learn what IP addresses are, what is IPv4, IPv6 address, what is DNS server, what is DHCP server, how does a network basically work, all that. Okay. After networking is done, then we go with virtualization. The reason why we need to learn virtualization as well, we will be using a tool called VMware. Okay. Inside this VMware tool, we use the operating system called Kali Linux. Okay. So this is a virtual machine of mine. In the VMware application, we can install multiple operating systems again. So on my base machine, I'm running Windows 11. On top of this Windows 11, in my VMware application, and I'm running a Kali Linux over here, as you can see. Okay, so in order to install this Kali Linux operating system, we need to understand VMware. And why do we need this Kali? This is the most important operating system required for pen testing. This comes pre-installed with all the hacking tools, as you can see. information gathering, web application testing, database attack, password attack, Wi-Fi attacks. All these tools come pre-installed with Kali, which are not available basically on your Windows operating system. So therefore, we need to understand how to install this VMware application, how to set up our lab, okay, using Kali. And after all this is done, then we go into the advanced concepts. Okay, there's a few more things which I've not included in the site, guys. This is some bonus topics you would say, such as cryptography, reverse engineering, Internet of Things, cloud security, Splunk analysis. Okay, so all these are the extra topics that will be covered in the course. So the whole course is divided in a 20-40 ratio. Every day from Monday to Friday, we have classes for 1 hour. And first 15 to 20 minutes, we discuss the theoretical part. The remaining 40 minutes, we'll be discussing the complete practical part of it with real-time scenarios and with the tools that are used in organizations. Okay, no theoretical nonsense, no clickbait information. Everything is practically based where you learn up to date what hacking or ethical hacking is in a way where it is used in corporate world. Okay, in real-time scenario. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Again, the whole course is for 45 days, as I've mentioned. You have a 1 hour class from Monday to Friday again. So again, if there's any queries regarding the timings or so, please contact the institute, guys. If you have any other queries regarding this technical information, you can contact me on this number. Okay. So if you have any queries regarding the any of the topics in hacking, or if you have any other personal questions of yours, you can contact me on this number, 768-0069768. Okay. If there's any queries regarding the fees or the timing, please contact the institute. Fees is 8,000 rupees. Again, guys, I teach for a couple other institutes in Bangalore as well. And for the same course, we are charging around 22 to 25,000. DURGASOFT is charging it only for 8,000 rupees. Again, same content. I'm the same tutor there also and here as well. Okay. So yeah, again, cheap and best. Again, with all the practical tools, with all the PDF materials, with all the recordings, each and every class will be recorded just in case you miss out a session. So yeah, that's that, guys. Any questions on your end, guys? Kumar, Vineet, and Yogesh. If you have any questions, you can let me know. If not, we'll just go with a very small practical, just to keep it interesting. You can let me know your questions, guys, or your queries. Kumar, Vineet, and Yogesh. Yeah, Kumar, the whole course is about certified ethical hacking. Certified ethical hacking is the foundational course where you learn all the required concepts for cybersecurity, the main foundational core level concepts for cybersecurity. We understand what are the different types of attack techniques. We understand what are the different defense techniques. So is easy concentration necessary for job? No, Yogesh, it is not a compulsory thing, as I've mentioned. Again, you having proper skill of the skill and knowledge about the subject is more important rather than having a certification. Certification only gives you an edge. It validates that you have done the course and you are skilled in it to pass the exam. Okay. Sometimes what happens is you get a job and the company itself bears the cost for the certification. Okay, so if you have the resources, if you have the money to spare for certification, then you can go with the certification. Again, there's pass guarantee. We give certification, we perform certifications as well, and there's complete 100% pass guarantee. You won't be losing any money. Okay, again, but if it is a bit tight, and if usually students tell me that, sir, again, certification is a bit costly, as I've mentioned, it's around $500 or so. So if it's a bit costly and if it's a bit over the budget, you can wait for until you get a job first, and then in the job you can try to get it done from the organization itself. Any other questions, guys? Yogesh, I hope the answer is clear. I hope I could clarify your question. Kumar, yeah, the course is about ethical hacking itself. Again, okay. I hope those are your questions. Those are the questions, guys. Let's perform a very small practical. Again, you might have known about this basic information gathering. How do hackers get your information, your device information from any random link, like a YouTube link? So what I'll do is I'll send you a YouTube link, guys, and I'll show you what information I can get off your device from the very basic YouTube link as well. Kumar has asked a question. So post the scores, what will be the job profile? Again, great question, Kumar. If I have to answer this question practically, I'll just show you a website called jobs.null. This is a website that you can search or try to find cybersecurity jobs in India. Okay. And if you're a complete fresher, if you've just done CEH, go for freshers or internship over here. And these are all the job roles you can apply for network security, for WAP specialist, for cybersecurity intern, for WAP analyst, infrastructure analyst, SOC analyst, and so on. Okay, so you can apply for VAPTI roles, you can apply for SOC analysis roles, you can apply for pen testing roles, and so on. Is that clear? Kumar? Hello? Embedded security, no, Kumar. I myself have never been, have gone through embedded security. I teach courses such as ethical hacking, web application pen testing security, and then SOC analysis using tools Splunk. So these are the 3 courses that I usually teach. ECSA as well, one more. So embedded, I've never been across embedded security, Kumar. I'm so sorry. Okay, guys. So now let's do one thing. Let me just show you a very small practical. So I have a YouTube page over here, the genuine page, as you can see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just send you a link now. Okay, it's a bit modified. It won't be the exact YouTube link, but when you open it up, you get the YouTube page itself. Okay, and from that, I'll show you how I can gather your information. So for example, I have this link now, YouTube page. All I do is I'll just copy this link and then open up a new website called Grabify, a very popular website actually in the cybersecurity circle. This is an IP logger site. It is capable of capturing your device information when you click on the link. So as you can see, it is only asking us to enter a valid URL. So I'll paste my URL over here and I'll click on create URL. I agree and create. And this will now give me a new URL. Let's wait for that. As you can see, this is my original one and this is the new one, gratify.link. This seems a bit suspicious. You can change the domain also. Okay, so depending on your target, you can select any domain of your choice. So if your target is interested in dating, you could select a dating link. If he's interested in gaming, you could select a gaming link, and so on. So let's assume my target is interested in songs also. So I'll select something like Stopify, right? Something similar to Spotify. And I can give an extension also, like let's say MP3, okay, path, let's say invite, and so on. Okay, so now this is my new link, HTTPS completely secure link. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll just copy this link and I'll share it to the target. So I can upload this to my WhatsApp status or my Instagram story, and whoever clicks on it, I'll just put a content also like, hi guys, this is my new album. Please check it out on Spotify. And when they click on it, okay, what happens is they get redirected to a YouTube page over here. Okay, if I give Spotify page, that is much better, makes them look makes it seem much more believable. Okay, so again, that is all social engineering techniques. I'll just copy all this now and I'll paste it in the chat box over for the time being. Now guys, again, I'm not going to attack your system or nothing malicious is going to happen. I'll just show you what information I can get from a basic YouTube page for your systems. Okay, so please let me know if anyone has clicked on it and verify to me if you're getting the same YouTube page. Okay, just for verification, let me click on it myself also. So I'll just copy this. I'll open up a new tab and I'll paste it over here. Okay, and if you closely observe whatever page I have over here, the Hyena, Sniffs Out, Soggy, Supper, whatever, blah, 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 I have the same page loading up over here also, as you can see. No difference at all. Okay, but if I come back to my Grabify and if I refresh this page, so I'll just copy this tracking code and I'll refresh the page again. And now you can notice in my results, I have 3 results over here. Okay, so one of them, so this is mine actually. I know my IP. So as you can see, one more thing I want you to do is search for what is my IP in the browser. And that shows you your public IP, the public IPv4 address. So right now my IP is, as you can see, it is 122.173 something. Okay, and that is the same IP I see over here. So this is my device IP. And it tells me what is my screen size, what is the processor in my device that I'm using, what is the browser I'm using, what is the operating system I'm using, and what is my ISP. Okay, there's another person who has clicked on this link also. Okay, and you have access this from Upperpage, and this is your IP address, this is your operating system. You access this from the Chrome browser, and you are running it from the ISP RDR something in your local Hyderabad network. Okay, so this information is more than enough for a hacker to understand what device you're using and what information is required for creating a malware. So next time when he creates a new link, he will attach a malware for that certain device. So for Windows 10, he'll create a malware and he'll send it to you. Okay, he could use it as a Chrome link. He could send it as a Chrome extension or something because you're using Chrome browser regularly. Okay, so in this very basic YouTube link, as you can see, this is all the information I could get for your devices. Okay, so at the moment only one person has clicked on it and you've clicked on it twice. Right? Let's not reveal who this is. It is not relevant, but whoever has clicked on it has clicked on it twice, and this is their device information, as you can see. Is this clear, guys? So again, this is a very small practical. There's much more advanced, much more what do you say, complex techniques where we can get much more extra information in easier methods. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Nothing further for our session, guys. Any queries or doubts, guys, before I end the session? Again, thank you so much for attending the session on a Sunday, and I hope you have a good weekend. But one last thing, if you have any questions, please let me know. If not, I'll exit the session. So can you share the course content in PDF? Oh yeah, definitely. 1 second. Can I get email addresses, guys, on which I can send the course content files? Okay. Yep. I've sent you the mail, guys, on which you have received the course content document, PDF document. Okay. So yeah, that's that, guys. Nothing further to discuss. If you have any questions regarding the course, please let me know. If not, if there's any other queries regarding the course fees or the batch timings or the batch starting date or anything, please contact the DURGASOFT Institute. Okay. Just in case if they don't lift calls today being a Sunday, please contact them tomorrow. If they still don't receive, you have my number anyhow. Again, batch timings mostly should be 8 p.m. Kumar, but I'm not sure. You have to discuss that with the institute once. Okay. Please confirm the batch timings from the institute once. Okay, sure. So yeah, that's it, guys. Nothing further for our session today. I hope I didn't bore you out, and I hope you enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you for joining the session on a Sunday. And yeah, that's it. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you, guys. Thank you.